So this is our pick a card reading to see who you were in a past life and how does it still affect you. So go ahead and meditate on the different cards and decide which stack of cards and which runestone speaks to you the most. This is group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you have made your decision, you can go to the description box below and choose which group you'd like to skip ahead to see your reading. Let's go ahead and get started. Group 1, who were you in a past life? We have Sacred Convergence, Purification, the Sun card, the Nine of Wands, and the Lover's card. So I'm seeing that in your past life, your lover and your family was very, very important to you. I'm sensing that you sort of married someone who gave you more status. It could have been that they were wealthier, that they had a title of nobility, but what I'm sensing is that here we have Sacred Convergence. This relationship that you had really changed your life and sort of made you a more powerful, influential person. So I'm getting the sense that here your lover was someone who, whether they were always there for you or they had a good relationship with you till the end, this relationship had a very strong impact on your life. So I'm seeing that now when you look at people who you're trying to date, whether you're trying to develop a family with them, you're looking for someone who's able to be a provider, someone who is able to give you a good quality life, because you've had that in the past. You know what it is to be stable and secure. And I'm also seeing here that there may have been some challenges along the way as far as having good relationships in general. So I'm seeing that there were some challenges. It could be that your families didn't quite get along. It could be that whoever you ended up with in marriage in your family, that they did not want someone who was had less status to be in their family, and so that had an impact on you as far as your self-esteem, as far as how you were treated. But then we also have this sort of like a phoenix rising from the ashes. We have someone here who was able to cleanse their emotions, who was able to rejuvenate, and we also see that they're sort of coming out of the water as if they're clean, as if they're, cleansed completely of all of this negativity. So I'm seeing that you had to develop strength. It wasn't something that you were born with in your past life, but it was something that you learned, that you developed. So you went through some challenges, but ultimately you had a good life. You were loved. You had a beautiful family. And you went through some challenges with other people, but you were able to come out of it. You were able to heal yourself, to be strong, and to become wiser, and to really get into that place of like self-actualization, like getting to the top of your potential is what I'm seeing. Now, this is something that may affect you in terms of being afraid to trust others, being afraid that people will judge you. But deep down, you've got this knowledge that you can be strong, that you can get through hurt, that things are going to be okay if you're able to just pull through, hang in there, and continue going after your dreams. So that's it for group 1. Here we have group 2. Who were you in a past life? We have Layla, Sacred Heart, the Two of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the Four of Pentacles. So based on this Knight of Swords here, I'm really getting a sense that you were someone who was in a powerful position, such as nobility, or someone who was in a leadership position. It's almost as though you worked your way up to a point where you had authority of some kind. It could be a government position, it could be something literal here, like a knight, but I'm seeing that you were a hard worker. You made some difficult choices. You wound up living this life that you really desired, that you really were seeking. And the things that you achieved in your previous life were very career-oriented. You had good finances. You were stable. You were respected. And so in your present life, that's reflecting as desiring sort of traditional values, desiring to have that stability, to be someone that others can support on, that others can trust, and you really embody that. Here we can see that there is something very passionate and loving, very spiritual going on. So I'm getting the sense that you did have a lover who was very supportive of you. There was someone in your life who was there for you when you needed them. And so I'm seeing that you may have been a person who gave others a leg up, who kind of helped them in times of need. That whoever you were in love with, that you brought them through difficult times and you were able to be someone like a shoulder for them to cry on, like someone who gave them stability when their lives were extremely difficult. So you've got this sacred heart going on. You've got this really loving side of yourself, despite the fact that on the outside in your past life, you seemed a little bit more, career-oriented, but there was a very strong, loving heart deep down. And so I'm seeing that you had a very fulfilled life, that you ultimately were very happy, and you had sort of a well-rounded set of achievements here. You had the love, you had the job, you had the status. Here we have the Two of Swords. So this is making me think that the person that you were in love with, they may have had something else going on. They may have been someone who was contemplating whether they wanted to be with another person. They may have been having an affair. But I see that ultimately this didn't affect you very negatively. You came out okay. You were strong. You were resilient. You had faith in yourself. And so what I'm seeing is that in this present life, you're very well suited to being in a good relationship. You're a good person to be with if someone wants to date you, someone wants to marry you, because you have that assurance in yourself. You know that even if someone is looking the other way, that they're not, is that the person they might be, looking at is not nearly as good as you, that you are grounded and you are sure of yourself. And you know that even if you were to lose somebody that you were dating, that you were in love with, that you have that stability, you have that power within yourself to, find someone else who's even better. So I'm seeing a lot of confidence, a lot of self-assuredness coming from you. Group 3, who were you in a past life? We have I surge on the uprising wave of love, intuitive communication, the King of Wands, the Four of Cups, and the King of Cups. So here I'm seeing that you were someone who was very attractive. You were someone who was very desirable. We have both the King of Cups, the King of Wands, and the wave of love here. So you were someone that other people desired and wanted to be with. I'm sensing that you were not someone who was how do you say, not someone who would go out with a lot of people, who would, date a wide variety of people, but someone that was desirable just because of your personality. You had either all of the men or all of the women or both looking at you, wanting to be with you. And I'm also seeing that, you had good intentions. So here, what I'm getting the sense of is that you had a hard time finding your purpose in life. In your past life, you had a lot of difficult decisions to make, and we see here this intuitive communication and this suit of wands here. So I'm sensing that spiritually, you weren't exactly sure what you believed in. Now, it could be that because you were desirable, people you had some haters. You had some lashback against you because you seemed to be well off. You seemed to kind of have it all. And so this is very common in people who, others tend to be put on a pedestal. But what I'm seeing here is that you did have some difficult choices to make in life, whether that was finding your career path, finding something that you were interested in. And what I'm seeing is that you may never have actually found that. So I see sort of an energy of seeking. We have this wave of love. We have this desire to listen, to gain knowledge. But what I'm seeing is that you spent most of your life trying different things, trying different jobs, in love with different people. And that gave you a wide variety of experiences. But at the end of the day, you were still this card. You were still thinking. You were still wondering if it was good enough for you. Wondering if it would serve you well. And that's not necessarily a bad place to be. What that shows is that you had internal strength. You knew that you were valuable. You knew that there was always going to be, a flaw in whatever job you were working in, whatever person was there with you. And so, settling down for one didn't appeal to you because you knew that you were valuable, that you could be happy even if you were by yourself. So I see a very beautiful energy here, and someone who is very confident and also inquisitive. So you could definitely be bringing that energy into your present life by, seeing your own value, by seeing that there are beautiful, wonderful people out there that you can get to know, that will love you and that will give you some deep connections. But you still have this mind, this curious mind, wondering about what else is out there. And so curiosity can be a very beautiful thing. Group 4, who were you in a past life? So we have Beyond Death, Life, Zen Garden, the Queen of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and the Hanged Man. Okay, so I'm seeing that in your past life, what I'm getting is that you may have been stirring up some trouble. You have this Queen of Swords, which is a very powerful, beautiful, strong energy. And you also have the Hanged Man. Now, I typically look at the Hanged Man as a change in perspective that needs to happen or that is currently taking place. But here, what I'm seeing is that your view on life was just a little different than your contemporaries. So your view on life was a little bit more loose and sort of morally loose, I guess. So what I'm seeing is that you trusted what you believed and you did what you wanted to do. So you were a bit of a rebel. And I'm seeing that you might have been that way because you needed to. Now, you could have been someone who was, getting into a little bit of trouble because you had to, because your family was poor, because things were unstable. I'm seeing that the kind of things you did were sort of minor. It was like you would travel sort of like having sort of like a gypsy, sort of like someone who would go to a new place that they didn't know and maybe upset the locals, but ultimately it was okay. You could sell your wares, you could provide food for people. You could, help the local people however you were able, but you may not always have been welcome just because you were an outsider in that sense. And in addition, you might have stolen a few things here and there, but there was a reason for it. It was either, you grew up without money, or you were in a situation where you were desperate. And so I'm seeing that this is the energy that you had in your past life that may be coming forward. You may feel this sort of lack, this feeling of, needing to have stability, needing to have your needs met, and worrying that they won't be, worrying that you'll have to rely on yourself. So you've got this really strong internal drive to problem solve no matter what, to make your life work out no matter what. You've got this really great survival instinct. And so here we have this Zen garden, this inner sanctuary, and this is where you found peace. So even though your life may have been a little bit chaotic, you were always able to find peace on the inside. You were always able to find your own calm and your own sense of balance by yourself, with reflection, with the knowledge that you'd made it this far, that you were a survivor. And so despite this instability here, I'm sensing a good heart and someone who was able to really make the best of their situation. Here we have beyond death, life. And so this shows me that you were very in tune with sort of your mortality. Like, you saw life as something that is fleeting, something that is beautiful and to be treasured. So despite the fact that you had some challenges, you really were able to make the most of everything. I'm really seeing you as this beautiful, rebellious energy. You have a good heart, but sometimes there were things that had to be done. And so this is kind of a fun little character here. Okay, group 5. Who were you in a past life? We have passion for purpose, ocean of eternal love, the Devil card, the Knight of Cups, and the 5 of Wands. Okay, group 5, you are the most turbulent and conflicted of all of our groups so far. So what I'm seeing here is that there is a strong desire for love, but it was a troubled love. So the person that you were in love with was not a good match for you. So what I'm seeing is that in your past life here, you had a lot of drive. You were someone who had a direction, who knew exactly what they wanted in life. You were strong and you were going after what you wanted. And then this person, we have this Devil card here. We also have this Nine of Cups. So what I'm seeing is that this energy goes together. There was a person in your life, in your past life, who had this beautiful, sort of innocent, naive, loving energy that you just adored, that drew you to them. And they were so good to you at first. But then this Devil side came out. So what I'm seeing is that you have this dichotomy of love and betrayal, or love and just negativity coming in. And so I'm seeing that this is something that you really did learn from. You really did grow from it in your past life. You were able to conquer it. Here we see the battle. Now this is something that you had to deal with. What I'm sensing is that you wound up with this person for a long time, that they were a very long-term defining relationship in your life. It could have been a husband or a wife, someone that you may have had a family with, have had children with, but ultimately you were able to kind of conquer this and get away, and you were able to find love somewhere else. So what this is showing me is that, you healed yourself. You were able to get past that. You were able to feel love, to feel problematic love, but also true love eventually. And so this may be affecting you in your present life by giving you sort of a clouded view of what love is, or of what kind of love to look for. So you know both sides. You know what true love is, and you know deep down what what a bad relationship is, or what an incompatible match is. So this knowledge is going to influence your decisions on relationships. So you have to make sure to listen to your gut, to listen to that part of you that has lived this before, that has been through this, that knows, that is wise. So definitely remember that, you have been through this before, you have learned something. This karmic lesson for you is just, overcoming that temptation. Finding the right person who is a good match for you. Okay. So we have group 6. Celestial Rose of Ma, Winter's End, the 4 of Wands, the 2 of Wands, and the Moon card. So we have some interesting cards going on here. What I'm seeing overall is a sense of mystery. And also we have this Winter's End, which is sort of rebirth, regeneration, kind of restarting a cycle. It's almost as though you had to reimagine yourself, kind of make big changes in your past life to sort of change your career, to change your image, your perception of yourself, or the way that others perceived you. So I'm getting the sense here that you were someone who may have been either a priestess, a witch, someone who, or if you're a male, a priest, someone who is magical, someone who had this deep spiritual side. And so what I'm getting the sense of is that some people welcomed that and some people did not. So you may have caused a little bit of controversy in your community in your past life. But what I'm seeing is that this outlet for you, this spiritual outlet, is something that you chose very consciously. You became spiritual. You weren't always that way. You became spiritual because you saw that it gave you some fulfillment. And so here we can see that decision taking place. And here we have the Celestial Rose of Ma. So to me, this is kind of a blessing coming your way. It's almost like an angelic blessing telling you that if you're going to follow this path, it will lead you down the right direction, that you will succeed if you are true to yourself, if you do what you believe in, regardless of others' opinions. And here we have this decision being made. So the 2 of Wands showing that you're on a spiritual journey. You've got the globe in your hands. You're deciding whether you want to, go with what you desire or do what will make other people happy. And here we also have this 4 of Wands. And the 4 of Wands shows me that ultimately you had joy in your life. You had happiness, you had peace, you had a community. And so by following your gut, by following what made you happy, you were able to get to this place, to get to this real sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. And so I'm sensing that despite the fact that, some people may not have approved of your decisions, that you may have been, kind of starting some conflicts here, that there was a group of people who gave you support and who loved you. And so in your present life, this is going to manifest as having that sense of independence, that independent streak. You might be an indigo child. You might be someone who feels like a little bit of an outcast, someone who feels like you'll never quite fully belong. But your karmic lesson is to overcome that fear, is to get past that desire to please others and to listen to your heart, listen to what you need to do, because this is your truth, this is what will fulfill you, and that is what will lead you to this place. So that is it for group 6. Thank you so much for watching this pick a card reading. If you would like to see more readings like this, more fun tarot and oracle card stuff, be sure to like and subscribe. You can also see more and participate in giveaways on my Instagram and my Twitter. And if you'd like your own tarot reading, including past life readings, you can go to my Etsy shop. Thanks so much, you guys. Have a great day.